Greetings, YouTubers. Welcome to part 2 of Refuting Liberal Talking Points. Public transportation is great. And going to Hussein Obama's vision of high-speed rail and public transportation all over this country. Obama has a vision of 10 high-speed rail networks across this great country. He's made extravagant claims and spent extravagant amounts of taxpayer money to get it off the ground. It will fail, as will all his initiatives. Hussein Obama's network may never be built. It is doubtful private investors will advance the money, and once government officials acknowledge the full costs, they'll retreat. In a recent report, the Government Accountability Office cited a range of construction costs from $22 million a mile to $132 million a mile. Harvard economist Edward Glazer figures $50 million a mile might be a plausible average. A 250-mile system would cost $12.5 billion, and 10 systems $125 billion. That would only be the beginning. Ticket prices would surely be subsidized, otherwise no one would ride the trains. Make the people who ride it pay for it. But that's why they won't build it, because an angel investor won't fund it. They know it's a loser, so they make everybody fund it. Would all the subsidies be justified by public benefits, less congestion, supposedly, fewer highway accidents, and supposedly lower greenhouse gases? Consider Obama's claim about removing the equivalent of 1 million cars from our roads. Even if it came true, which it probably wouldn't, it would represent less than 1/2 of 1% of the 254 million registered vehicles in 2007. Densities are much higher, and higher densities favor rail with direct connections between heavily populated city centers and business districts. In Japan, density is 880 people per square mile. It's 653 in Britain, 611 in Germany, and 259 in France. By contrast, plentiful land in the United States has led to suburbanized homes. That's another thing the central planners, libtards don't like, these evil suburbanites. Plentiful land in the U.S. has led to suburbanized homes, offices, and factories. Densities is 86 people per square mile. Trains can't pick up most people where they live and work and take them to where they want to go. Cars can. So dang those suburbanites for getting out of the city. That's not all, folks. We're spending more. Amtrak. Here's another good one. Amtrak is a perfect example of a government boondoggle. Amtrak has announced that it will spend $300 million on 130 new rail cars, including sleeper and dining cars, for its long-distance trains. The government's company's announcement came with the obligatory statement that it will create 575 jobs. That's more than 500,000 per job. All of Amtrak's long-distance routes are money losers. For example, the Sunset Limited, which runs from Nolens to LA, lost $462 per passenger in 2008. According to the Government Accountability Office, long-distance routes account for 15% of riders, but 80% of financial losses. What do they do? What's Obama want to do? He wants to do it anyway. He wants Amtrak on steroids. Amtrak is dependent on federal subsidies, which are usually about $1.5 billion a year. Amtrak also received $1.3 billion in American Recovery and Reinvestment Act money. Amtrak has asked for $2.5 billion for the upcoming fiscal year, and the Senate Appropriations Committee has proposed a 25% increase. Amtrak's press release brags. Last fiscal year, 2009, the railroad carried 27.2 million passengers, making it the second best year in the company's history. That sounds good until you realize that Amtrak accounts for only 0.1% of the nation's passenger travel. Moreover, Amtrak projected in 1976 that its ridership would grow from 17.3 million in 1975 to 32.9 million in 1980, and they're not even at 28 million now. Yeah, ridership projections are always off. They always say, everybody's going to ride this. Yeah, and then nobody rides it, and then they wonder why it's losing. It doesn't do any better overseas, as it is inundated with cost overruns, and ridership projections are always off. The New York Times reports that Greece's Hellenic Railways, does anything work in Greece? Greece's Hellenic Railways is bleeding red ink at the rate of 3.8 million per day. The total debt of the Greek railway system has increased to 13 billion, or roughly 5% of Greece's GDP. Greek government officials who are interested in selling a stake in the state railway system may have difficulty finding a buyer. The Greek rail system pays 3 times as much for interest payments on its debt as it takes on in revenue, so nobody's going to take this. Don't tell Washington about this. Obama will probably want to buy it. Yeah, let's buy that Greek system. So there you go, folks. Another government central planning endeavor. Another government will be your mother. Will take care of you, put your diapers on, clothe you, feed you, take cradle to grave, take care of your life, put gas in your car, throw you out of your car, and make you ride public transportation. Public transportation, as run by the government today, is a loser, and it's just another in the long line of big government failures. And if Obama expands it, it will fail more, and we'll just spend more money on it, and it's a loser. It's indefensible. And, of course, if any liberal wants to defend public transportation, you just bring it. Have a nice day, and don't thank me now.